higher. You are listening to an exclusive review. ASOT, A State of Trance.
Welcome to another 10 Questions With, and this week we have a very special guest all the way from Ireland. He just mixed a new city called After Dark 002, live recorded in Los Angeles, and he's here to answer your questions. Sneijder, how you doing, man?
Good to be here.
Let's kick it off straight away. A question from Greg Music. Do you have any education in music?
I was actually asked this question yesterday by someone. No musical theory whatsoever. Everything's self-taught. I think my knowledge of making tracks comes from the DJ aspect of things. What I know works on the dance floor. So it kind of transpires into making music. I can't play piano. I'm sort of like, pushing notes. I'm not musically trained whatsoever. but I know what I like. It just takes me a while to get there.
I really recognize that as well. I have that as well. I don't have any classical training either, but I still know what I like to hear. You know
what you want.
And you started producing after you started DJing, right? Because you have been a DJ for such a long time.
Nearly 25 years, I think. I started DJing when I was 14 years old. First set of belt drive turntables and progressed from there. I was a hardcore DJ for many years. And then it wasn't until things sort of changed. The DJing aspect, it wasn't about being a good DJ anymore. It was more about production and the brand. And, things changed and the scene changed. And that's what was instrumental in making me start to make my own music. And to be honest, I really enjoy it now. It's something that I never thought about before, but now I think it works hand in hand.
So you basically said that you were being forced into making music.
Sort of, yeah.
And you didn't like it at first, and then
not that I didn't like it at first. I had no interest in it prior to starting making
music. Just wanted to play out.
I just wanted to be a DJ. That was my thing. Rocking dance floors was just what it was about for me.
Next question is from Pirate Hunter 77. What is your favorite uplifting trance DJ? You can't say yourself.
Oh, that's a tough one actually. There's so many around at the moment. I really like Craig Connolly's stuff. I really like Craig's vocal work. Factor B as well. He has, an old school sort of like sound that I really embrace. I like Noble 6 as well.
Yeah.
There's a few there. It's hard to pinpoint one. But I think those guys are doing stuff that I would listen to regularly.
Well, that's a good coincidence because Factor B and Craig Conley are both going to be here in the studio next week. So if you have any questions for them, you can write them down already here in the comment section. And the next question comes from LFC Ben MCC. What is your go-to plugin in the studio?
Oh, so many for different things. I mean, the Virus TI is obviously it's hardware, but I use it a lot for the thicker sounds, and then I layer them up. Believe it or not, I use a Logic's ES2 a lot.
Yeah.
Although it's very thin, I find you have to layer it up a lot. But my go-to would probably be Zebra or probably Spire.
The US stuff.
Yeah.
And what is the last one you bought?
The last one I bought was... what was the last one I bought, actually? It's been a while. I just upgraded my computer, everything to 64-bit. So I was transporting everything over. I think the last plugin I bought was probably Spire, actually. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right. The next one this is a hard one as well, because I wouldn't know what to answer either. This is from Ensign7. What is your favorite track ever?
It's a toss-up between two, which I can't decide.
Name them both.
It's Star Party, I'm in Love.
Okay.
The Ferry Costin remix.
Yeah.
Robert Smith remix, one of my favorite tracks ever. And Empirical Labs is Turtle Beach.
Oh wow!
One of my favorite tracks ever.
That's one of the first A State of Trance releases.
Is that how it's pronounced? Empirical Labs?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. It was one of the.
Yeah.
It's the ASOT line, that real wrenching ASOT sound, and then the euphoria of the breakdown was one of the reasons why I got into production. I wanted to be able to do that.
Would that be your service with Dreamer Request?
100%.
Nice.
Yeah.
Next question comes from IMDGNR8. Are you taller than Armin?
I think so. I'm 6'3".
So we have to look back to the episode because we took a couple of pictures. I think you're taller because you're just as tall as I am. There you go. Next question comes from Eduardo Doom. How did you get to make that amazing remix for Stay?
The remix came about, actually. I had done a remix before for Ben some time ago. And Ben just approached me and asked me what did I think of the track. And, I listened to it and I really loved the lyrics. I think it's a masterclass in vocal performance from Sivan. It really touched me, actually, because it's a bittersweet sort of track where it has such a strong message, but yet it's so uplifting at the same time. So for me, I loved it from just as soon as he sent me it, I loved it. So it was a no-brainer for me. I spent some time working on the melody and, sent Ben some samples and he really liked it. And it came about very naturally, actually.
Such an anthem.
Yeah, man, I'm really, really happy how it's turned out. So
that's probably going to be in your sets for the rest of your life, most likely.
More likely, yeah.
All right, the next question comes from Lena 1990. What is your morning routine?
Morning routine, simple. Up, breakfast, and then I bring my daughter to school. Back in studio. Sometimes gym if I'm not tired before the school run. But it's usually, father things,
And then after if you did that, you can start on your music. Everybody's gone out of the house. You just sit down in the studio, work on stuff.
Sit and work until I keep really strict studio hours, I'll work from 9 to 5 and I'll take my lunch and I have it really strict because I have a daughter.
Yeah.
She goes to sleep at,
How old is she?
4. She just turned 4. So, I only get to see her for a few hours at night before she's going to sleep. So you have to keep that balance, I think. So I try to keep things as strict as possible.
Does she listen to your music already?
She loves music.
Yeah.
I actually have a video of her dancing to a track. I was listening to a live set from Luminosity. I can't even remember who said it was. It was a Side Trance set. And she was just going crazy.
Kids love Psytrance. I don't know why. Must be the rhythm, like the
it must be. And I let her hear one of my tracks, but she just didn't have the same movement. So,
next question comes from Cian Malone 14. What do you think about the trance scene in the Republic of Ireland and why?
In the Republic of Ireland?
Yes.
It's really strong. I mean, for me,
you have so many great talents coming from there.
Yeah, I mean, we were sort of spoiled when I was breaking through as a DJ. There was a lot of UK was sort of a hotbed for the God's Kitchen and the Gate Crashers, and it was the Super Club era that I grew up in. And you had DJs playing on a regular basis: Mauro Picotto, Marco V, Scott Project, Armin. We had all these DJs on our doorstep, and even though some of them played a lot in mainland UK as well, it was so accessible back then. But I've spoke to many DJs, and they've told me that back in the days, Ireland in general used to be one of their go-to places for energy and at the minute there's so many good events in Ireland, and Belfast is absolutely booming at the moment for trance, so it's good to see, really good to see.
And why do you think that most of you guys, you really make banging, hard, techie trance? Why is that? There's not a lot of progressive trance or even, I don't know, progressive in general.
That's very true. I mean, like I said before, it's based on the scene that we grew up listening to. The Mauro Picottos and the Marco V's and the more harder style DJs was very prolific in Ireland at that time. And I was a hardcore DJ before, so the music that I'm playing now is a big BPM drop. I was playing 160 BPM, very fast music, I was into Paul Alstack and, Dark Raver and all this sort of really, really hard stuff. And when I discovered trance, it was more hard trance. So I've sort of dipped my toe in different wee things here and there, always uplifting and harder stuff. But I think the guys from Ireland, it's basically what we grew up listening to, really.
So you also love that Marco V track that we played this week?
I absolutely loved it. It was incredible.
Really reminded me of that Vision series. You remember the Vision series, the 3 vinyls with Recovered and Stimulants? Oh.
It's amazing, man. I was sitting over there going,
hey, what is this?
This is incredible. Really good. Yeah.
Nice. The next question is an interesting one as well. Dr. Michenko wants to know, what is the most unusual sound you've ever used in a track?
Actually, in the Ben Gold remix, there's a part when the vocal finishes and it drops into it's a church organ. And I played around with the attack on the synth so that when it hits the note, it's it doesn't, you're not hearing the click at the start of the note,
So it sounds like a spiraling church organ. Yeah.
And I don't really use sort of like sounds like that. I tend to go for very raw sort of sounds.
This was a little subtle. And
yeah, and I tried it in there, and everybody's been asking me, what is this sound? And no one knows what it is. It's a very strange, obscure sound, but it just works so well, that part of the track.
Just because you put up the attack.
Yeah, and just like, you know, it's like a spiral, and it's actually the melody, same notes as the melody, but just with the attack on the synth, you know, just sort of like automated so it doesn't, you're not getting those sharp notes. It's more like a spiral sort of sound. And
do you ever use like super weird samples from sample packs that you're like, I shouldn't be using this, but it works?
Well, I've only recently signed up to Splice, which I didn't know even existed until it was like James Diamond put me onto it. So I've been finding some really obscure stuff in there as well. So I've been throwing things in the tech trance, but I have sampled like a lot of, you know, old school stuff. I'm not going to mention any names, but like, you know, I'm talking about hardcore records back in the day, and there's bits of those in my harder stuff.
Do you still sample those? That you take the vinyl and then you record a bit and then?
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to pay close attention to that.
It's I think having that knowledge of those records is golden, that you can, I know a sound that will fit there and straight in, you know, have something.
Yeah, most of the time it's those record labels or those artists are not into music anymore whatsoever. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of, even 1999, 2000 tracks that the new generation don't know anything about. It's the same with the Marco V sound. You guys kind of brought it back, and I think it influenced Marco V also to go back into trance again. That's what I think.
He's one of the pioneers, the great pioneers of tech trance for me. A big influence of mine.
Yeah. Right, the last question already. This one comes from Diego Munoz. Where do you get your inspiration from in making such good trance music?
It's always a tough one. I mean, I could sit here and say that I'll take inspiration from traveling like everyone else does, but I don't. I'm like not musically trained, so I have to really graft out the start of a track. That's how I work. You know, obviously I can sometimes with the tech trance stuff, the track will be based around a sample or something that I've found, an idea in my head, something very small. The track is built around that and it just evolves itself. With the uplifting stuff, it's always the melody. The melody has to be key for me, you know. In saying that, the track I made back home, which was released on Pure Trance, probably the most uplifting track I've written in a long time, to be honest. It was based around the small vocal sample that I found. The top line of the vocal was a full line, and I chopped it up and made my own.
So that's what you took, and everything around it you just built.
Yeah, it was everything was written around that vocal. So I suppose what I'm trying to say is it can be one small thing, or else it can be the melody. It just depends on the track, and you know yourself. There's sometimes you're in the studio and you just hit a brick wall, and sometimes it's better just to turn everything off and go for a walk and get inspiration that way. You know,
delete project file.
Yeah.
No, never delete it, because maybe in like 2 years you come back to it.
I've done that as well.
Well, thank you so much for answering the questions. This was 10 questions with Sneijder. Make sure to check out his new compilation, After Dark, live from Los Angeles, from a legendary Avalon venue. One of the darkest, deepest venues in America, I think.
Sound system's incredible. Yeah. Such a good venue, yeah.
All right, thank you so much. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Lifting you higher. This is A State of Trance.